Hey everyone, welcome back. It's another Sunday session, which really is just about the opportunity to watch what I'm doing, craft along, chill out, whatever takes your fancy. There's no pressure, it's probably not really a tutorial even, it's just this is what I'm doing this week kind of thing. This is what's on my desk. And this week, if you watched my video on Wednesday, you'll know that one of the things I sorted out recently in an attempt to, with the hashtag find my floor, been having a big sort out, and I sorted out all my envelope stash. And, you know, probably like most of us, there was far too many. Anyway, I used some of them for a bit of a mass make on Wednesday. And when I was sorting out, I found these two envelopes. Now look at this, they've got this gorgeous gold lining. They're the same size. I think they've come from the same company because these have both come from my aunt who lives in Canada. And she sent me some lovely cards in these. And the other thing, the thing that attracted me to these envelopes is that they're really quite strong. Now I would say, at a guess, they're probably at least 160 GSM. They really are, and you can hear there, hopefully, they really are quite strong. So, and I thought these were great. And I want to do something with them. So I was sort of playing around with them, thinking, oh, what shall I do? And what I'm actually going to do is to use them to make a little, now I don't really know whether this is going to turn into a journal or a folio or whatever, but you will see that all I've done is to slide, because they're the same size, I've slid one flap inside the other, and already that's quite sturdy. And that's going to make, as I say, I'm not sure whether it's going to turn into a folio or a journal, probably more of a folio. If we define a folio as a small scale journal, maybe. Don't know whether that's the correct definition, but anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So that's where I'm going to be going today. And we have Mother's Day coming up here at the beginning of May. And so when I was thinking, what shall I do with this? I thought actually this would be really lovely to be able to do as just a little gift for my mum on Mother's Day. So I'm going to pull out some papers and bits and pieces, and then I'll come back and we'll see what we can create. Right, now I don't particularly want to cover the inside of these pieces here. I might adding some decoration, but I don't particularly want to cover them as a whole. The outsides I'm going to cover. So anyway, what that means is that I'm going to stick to kind of a red and blue colour theme. And what I've realised is that red in particular is not a colour I use a huge amount of. Anyway, I've been through my stash and I've pulled out some papers. As I say, I'm not into buying anything at the moment, so I've pulled out some bits and pieces that I might use. And you might notice there's a bit of a theme here around sort of a floral design, which is very much my mum. I've also found this. Now, I picked this up in a charity shop, I think. And this is, it says it's a paper pack, but it's really, it's cardstock. And it's really quite good weight. So I wondered about a couple of pieces of that, because what I have found is that these envelopes must be exactly 6 by 6 inches, because look at that. So I think I might pull a couple of these pieces out and do the front and the back covers with these. And I'm going to do that to start with, and that'll hold the whole thing together. And then the other thing I've pulled out is I've been through my drawers, and some of the stuff I've made recently, some I've made as part of the Defember Ember challenge last year. But anyway, I've pulled out bits and pieces that I think might go in there. So again, you'll see there's not a lot with a red sort of colour. That's could be quite a nice bookmark. Yep, that's the right size. So that might end up in there. yeah, not a lot with red, so I might have to have a rummage through another drawer as well. I don't think those are going to go. I've got a few red butterflies here, and I've got, again, this, you'll see I picked this up in an op shop. This is little cards. I thought these would make really cute little journaling cards just to tuck in pockets. And they also come with mini envelopes. So, you know, picked those up for $1, and I thought they might be useful. And I thought it was a really cool little hangy thing as well. Anyway, we might use some of those. All right. Let's start by doing the cover, and then we can see what else we want to add on. So I'm going to take this apart again. I'm going to glue this flap and this flap and slide them one inside the other. And then I'm going to choose 2 pieces of this cardstock and stick on the back. So let's do that. Alright guys, so that's been drying. So let's take these off. I'm hoping, because I put this bit of kitchen paper on, I'm hoping it's not marked it too much. These little clips seem to have quite a, I suppose it's what makes them grip. Anyway, I think that's okay. Those little dents will come out. So there we go. There's a cover. I'm going to trim off the little ends of the washi tape and that ribbon, and you will see I popped that on there to sort of cover and strengthen that spine area. I'm just struggling to get that to look tidy. Okay, we'll come back and see, make sure how that's doing in a minute. Okay, so there's our front cover, or the basis of it, and our back cover, with the bits of washi tape on. What am I going to do now? So the other thing I've done, whilst those were drying, I've cut, and I had this piece of scrapbook paper, which again is sort of a thin card, and I love this image, and I don't know whether it may be too big, but I'd like to try and fussy cut that out, and maybe, I don't know whether it would just stick on the back there. I'll see. But anyway, the other part of this paper, this half here, is plain, and I cut that. And so again, I've sort of turned that into the first page of the folio, or another sort of cover, if you like. Anyway, the other thing I found in my stash of papers, and again I'd picked this up in an op shop, and it was a pad of sort of marbled, different coloured paper. And I thought at the time, oh, that's really pretty. I don't know what I'll use it for, but I'll probably use it. So I picked out pink, green. There was only one sheet of blue left. So we've got pink, green and blue pieces in there. And you'll see I've just cut those and folded them to go into this little journal or folio, whatever we're going to call it. I might look up and see whether there's a definition of the difference. But anyway, all right. So I'm going to put those in, probably with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And then I'm going to have a think and see what else I would like to add in. Now, the other thing I'm going to do before I put those in is to ink the edges of this paper. I'm also going to go and print a couple of photographs, family photographs for my mum, to pop in here and to use. So I'll find some ink and some photographs, and we'll come back and start getting this together. All right, so all those pages are in there, and that was just a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I've made 4 little cards here, photo cards, and some of them have got some lines on the back. I might do a couple more with lines on. So they're all ready to be tucked in. Excuse me, I've started to fussy cut this out. It is a little bit big, but I love it, and I'm hoping to include it somewhere. So I think I might have to cut some of these bits off maybe, although... Okay, so I'm going to have another look at that and see if we can include it somewhere. I think I've made the decision I want to keep most of these pages fairly blank. What I am going to do is just add some lace and some little strips down some of the sides, just so that they're not completely blank. And on the back and the front, I'm going to do some other bits and pieces. I've got this, which is just, it's a piece of card, it's covered with some paper. And I'm going to attach this here to make a little tuck spot. So we can tuck things in there as well as in this bigger pocket. In this bigger pocket, I've cut these to go cut these to fit into those pockets. So we'll have a photo in there. But I'm thinking of this with maybe a couple of little tags or something in there. And I was wondering about another one, using this as another one on the back. It's just fractionally short, isn't it, that one? But it is quite pretty. So I'll think about that. But I'm going to attach this one. So let's put some glue. And when I did this, I doubled the paper over the edges. That's the right way, yes, just to finish the edges off, really, and make it nice and neat. And I haven't inked the edges or anything on this one. I'm just going to stick it over. And one of the reasons I'm going to stick it over is, I don't know whether you can see, but here my front piece of card came slightly over the edge of my envelope, and I just don't want to cut that off because it looks really pretty and I don't want to lose any of that. So I'm going to stick that on there, and then this will be a really cute little tuck spot for some little things like this. There's a little blue one here as well. Might pop those two in there. We'll see. I quite like that one. What else have we got? Oh, actually we've got these. Actually that looks quite nice in there, doesn't it? Although I do have another one of those with red on as well. Oh, I'm sure both of them will go in somewhere. Right, let's trim this down. So how's everybody's weekend? It's we always end up talking about the weather, don't we? I guess it's important. We've had a bit of a mixed week here. It's the Easter school holidays. So as well as being busy with our tourism business, we've had some of the grandchildren up for a little while, which was lovely. See the girls. It's one of their birthdays today. Yeah, I like that, but I don't think it goes on there. No, I think that covers up that too much. Right, so we've got those two. I've also got those two, which I think will go in there really nicely. The other thing I did pull out was this, which is a piece of a snippet roll that I made, I think as part of Ephemerimber. And I'm wondering whether to pop that in somewhere. Not quite long enough, is it? That's kind of the wrong shape to go there, isn't it? We need something on the back here. Let's sort that out next. I've got this, which is a floating pocket that I made as part of Ephemerimber. Gosh, that's stuck in there. There we go. Don't think that's Mum somehow, so we'll put that to one side. This is quite pretty, and I'd like to get this in somewhere, even if it's just on the corner of a page like that. And I've got this, which is a little notebook that you can take out, but again it's got the rose here. So I'd quite like to tuck that in somewhere. So we do need a couple of tuck spots, and I'm going to find some lace or some strips to go down the side. We've also got these, haven't we? Have a look. So we've got that pattern and that one. Okay, so there's three different little ones there. That away. Getting too much stuff here. Right. I'm not actually going to do anything with those. I am going to round, other than rounding the corners. There we go. So we'll find us somewhere for those to go. All right, so we've got a few bits and pieces. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, I found some other bits as well. Oh, that I thought might be quite nice. And this one, this is too big. Actually, I wonder if we can get that to work. Let's try, because that might make quite a nice tuck spot at the back. Oh. Yeah, so it's yeah, we're in the middle of the Easter school holidays here, so things are pretty busy. Lots of people on holiday with their kids because the weather is still good, although they are predicting a cyclone this weekend, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Hasn't arrived yet. Just a fraction more. What would be 6 inches, wouldn't it? Silly. Go. And I do feel yeah, I think that's okay. What I'm going to do with that one, let's move this. And I use my trimmer because I can't for the life of me cut a straight edge. Now this is that's a greetings card, I think. It's been upcycled. I'm just going to measure it. I think about it, it's 6 inches, isn't it? Oh, my brain this afternoon. Not even this morning. It's just not working. Right, there's the... Oh, and that's on the wrong edge. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, here we go. So it's going to go that way up, needs to be on that edge. Just there. And I put a little thumb notch in that one so that we can see it's a pocket. And I'm going to go around it. Yeah, something very exciting this week actually. As most of you know, I've been determined to start using what's in my craft room and you know, not buying a whole heap of stuff. However, let me show you. I have had these little things for years and years and years. Probably, we worked it out, probably about 20 years. And they're hole punches. And so you put them, you hold them on your, and you go like that, and you get your hole. And then you turn them over and the other end squishes the eyelet. Love these. These have been great. I've had three different sizes. Unfortunately, my biggest one, which is the one I use the most and the one I have all the eyelets for, broke. Like non-repairable, broke. And believe you me, Mr. Gem is really good at fixing things, and even he looked at it and went, This was a few weeks ago, and I'm like, So after much deliberation, I made a big decision. Look, finally treated myself to a crocodile. So that will be making an appearance. I'm very excited. Alright, so in here, and unfortunately I did get a bit of ink on there, so I might, actually I probably should have done that before I put the pocket on. I might put a little bit of washi tape or something along there What's going to go? I think I need a very narrow one. Let me see what I've got. Right, I've got this quite neutral, I think it's just got a little bit of script on there actually. Yes, so the crocodile, a big investment for me, I have to say. Those of you who followed my channel will know that I don't, a lot of the things I use, I've either had for a very long time, or I've found them in an op shop. And certainly a lot of the consumables that I have, you know, papers, things like that, come from op shops. And so the crocodile for me was a really big investment actually, and I've been wanting one for quite a while and just not been comfortable with the amount of money that they cost. Anyway, given that my other tools really did come to the end of their useful life, I decided to bite the bullet and buy one. And then, do you think I could find any that were in stock? I tend to order online because we live a long way. Well, we live an hour from the nearest town. Hang on, I get my head in there. And it's only a small town. Not really likely to find anything like that. So I do shop online for things like that. And you know what? Having made that decision to get one, I've then had to wait for them to come back into stock. But anyway, had an email last week to say they were back in stock and would I like to order one. And for those of you in New Zealand, Crafter's Cart, I bought it from. First time I've used them, but I tell you what, I was really impressed. They're a New Zealand store. In fact, I think it's quite a small, you know, sort of almost home-based type business. But yeah, I was really impressed. They arrived really quickly. Great service. Couldn't fault it really. Now I'm fiddling with this, and I should have done this before I stuck the pocket down really. Ugh. Oh, that looks even worse because it's not straight. Oh dear, I am going to fiddle with this and get it right. Yeah, so good to find somewhere that does a good service, I have to say. And I wouldn't hesitate to use them again if I wanted something. But as I say, I don't. It was a big investment for me, and I don't usually spend money like that. Needs glue. But I'm looking forward to playing with it. I've used it a couple of times, but haven't really got to grips with it as yet. Okay, so we've got 2 pockets there ready to go. Look at all those bits. And we've got 2 there ready to go. I want to get this in. All right, I'm going to do a little bit more fussy cutting on this. And we'll see if we can make it fit. All right, I think what I've decided, so I've finished that one and tucked those in there. There's going to be a photo in there. These first two, this page and the last page, are a bit thicker because I used that scrapbook card. These pages are quite thin and just paper, so I'm going to do a few more bits like this. So you can see I've just stuck a nice attractive piece of washi tape down the side there. I'm going to do a couple more bits like that, and I'm also going to do some with lace. But that's all I'm going to do on these thinner pages. I'm going to leave those for notes and for writing. What I am going to do on these thicker pages, the front and the back, I'm going to put pockets on those, and I've cut this one ready, and I'm just going to check that it fits. Actually, it's just a little bit off that top edge. Okay, so I'm going to ink that and put that one on there. So let's do that to start with. I think I'll just trim that top bit off in a minute. Do you know, I'm struggling to know what colour to ink the edges on these. You know, we normally go black or brown, but they're feeling a little bit heavy. I wonder about a bit of green on this one. I've got these little ink pads in a multitude of colours, which is quite helpful. I'm just going to put a little bit of green along this one. I'm thinking I might put this in and just have this as a little tuck spot. I'm wondering if things are going to get caught in it. Oh no, they slide underneath quite easily. They might be a little bit big. We'll see. I'm wondering what to do with this edge actually. I wonder whether the green again would work. Let's try it and see. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like that. Alright, how are we doing on time? Oh, it's nearly time for me to finish up this morning. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine for one of our cards. Yep, just to tuck in. Okay. And we'll do one more on this side. I've got our little cards in there, and I probably will ink the edges of those in a moment. I am aware of time this morning. Right, one more on here and a little bit of lace on a couple of the pages. So let's pick a couple of random pages. This is my big bag of lace. What have we got in here? That's a bit big. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Sorry, did that hit the camera? I don't know. Right. It's a lovely green here. Not Actually, that's the one I was thinking of, but that's the wrong colour green. This is the right colour green. Do we want it out or in? I'm going to pop it that way. Now, my mum, I have to say, is not an overly sort of lacy, frilly person. So I don't want too much, but just a little. And again, what I quite like to do, I'm putting a bit of lace like that quite often. I'll add a bit of washi as well, just to, this one is quite sticky, I think. It just holds the edge of that lace down. Again, now you can see you wouldn't want anything heavier than that on the edge of that page. These pages are quite light. So there's one. Let's pick another one. Right, what are we going to do on here? Let's have another look actually in this, the pad we used originally for the outside pieces. What have we got? Ooh, that's quite a nice bit, isn't it? You could do a pocket that way, a smaller one. I do like them to go right across the page. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Now, do you know what? I'm going to use this bit. And I'm going to cut across there and make a little pocket that way. And then I think that will do. Then we've got some different things, different pockets. Alright, I'll get this one cut and I'll come back. Alright guys, I've cut that pocket at about 3 inches, which is about half my page. And as you can see, I've come back in with that same green lace and just gone along the top. And I found this whole pack of embellishments which have come, they came with that paper that that I lined the, stop. They came with the paper that I used for the front and the back covers, and just trying to find that bit again. I've just found them. No, it's just going to get too much. Anyway, I found this little one, and I've stuck a little green circle behind it, and I'm just going to pop it on there before I stick this down. Just adding to. Alright, we'll go around the edges, and you'll see I just tucked the lace over the edge just to secure it. Alright, let's pop this in. Alright guys, sadly that's all I've got time for in this Sunday session. I do want to do something a little bit more on the cover here, but I don't want to rush it and spoil it, so I will think about that. And it might be that I do bring in, you know, one of these fussy cuts, but I would want to cut this out a bit more and do some layering there. So I'll have a think about that. But let's see what we've achieved. We started off with 2 6x6 envelopes, some scrapbook card, and some sheets of paper. Really, that's all we've used. So let's have a look. A little tuck spot here with some cute little journaling cards and our photo pocket here. Just a nice decorative page. Now I've put the little, and these are just little scrap notebooks that I make. So I've put the little notebook in that pocket there. And then we've got lots of lovely plain pages with some washi tape and some lace just to add a little bit of something. And then we've got another photo tuck spot here, another one here, another one here, and our other little 3 journaling cards that are just disappearing in there. There we go. And again, a greetings card utilised there. All right. I hope that's been fun to watch. I hope it's been relaxing. If it's given you some ideas, awesome. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them below. I love to hear from you and love your feedback. I'll be back midweek. I think I've got one more mass make to show you this week, and then I'm moving on to a new project which is going to be quite exciting, so do kind of keep an eye out for that coming up. But my last mass make this week, hopefully around Wednesday. We'll see how my week goes, but for now, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, happy crafting, ka kite anō.